Hi there, I'm Glyn Dewis. I'm a portrait photographer based in the UK, and in this video I want to talk about something that has massively helped when it comes to building my own style and my portfolio. Now, I think it's fair to say when it comes to style, it's not something that comes naturally. It's something that everyone talks about. How do you develop your own style? And over time, I've kind of come to realise that the only way you can do that really is by copying. Now, I know that might kind of cause a sharp intake of breath, thinking you can't copy, but just bear me out, because what I'm talking about here is this. We are all different people. We've all got different upbringings, different likes, tastes, dislikes, and that can really influence our work. So what I found I did for me was I went onto places, and I still do this. I went onto Pinterest, you go onto Google, and I look at photographers' work who I really, really like. And for me, that's people like Albert Watson, Annie Leibovitz, Platon, and I look at their work. And if I see an image that I think, I really like that, just for my own benefit, I'll think, how have they done it? So I'll reverse engineer it and I'll try to recreate my own version. So I'll look at things like, I'll get the picture and I'll say, okay, so where are the shadows? Where are the highlights? And by looking at things like that, and obviously we have the catch lights in the eyes as well, I can kind of figure out how that lighting would have been done. Now, we're not talking about how it will be like perfectly like they did it, but it's a rough idea, okay? So I'll kind of reverse engineer it. When I've got that picture, I've had to think about how they would have lit it. Then I'll either go into my garage and I'll have that mannequin head, maybe a polystyrene mannequin head if there's no real person to practice on, or I might actually go into the studio and have somebody there, a friend that I can get to sit and practice. So what I've done in this particular video, I found a picture already online. We're going to go into the studio and I'm going to try and reverse engineer it to try and create my own look. We're going to look at the lighting, which in the one I've chosen is pretty much Rembrandt lighting. So we're going to set that up. And then I'm going to look at bringing in a second light, or maybe even a reflector if that's all I need, just to bring a little bit of a kiss of light on the other side of the face, on that shadow side, just to light up the chin. So we've looked at the actual clothing that the person's wearing in this picture, so we're going to try and match that. The hairstyle, we're going to try and match that, and then we're going to light it to see if we can recreate our look. And this I find is great fun. If I'm always photographing for other people, that doesn't necessarily excite me. But when I have projects like this, when I reverse pictures, reverse engineer them and try to recreate them, that's what keeps me excited. And it kind of takes me back to why I got into photography in the first place, for the enjoyment of it. So once I've taken the picture, I'll then retouch it, and then that is for maybe my own personal use. But the thing I mentioned at the start about copying, you can't copy. It sounds crazy to say that, but no matter how much you try to copy, there'll always be something that makes you do something different. And I always equate that to when I've taught Photoshop maybe in the past. You might be in the class that I'm teaching in Photoshop. There could be a number of other people. And I'll give you a memory card with a raw file on it, and you'll put that on your computer, and I'll have the same one. I'll tell you what to do. I'll say, do this, do this, do this, and you'll copy it. Then I'll say, take this slider to 20. When you're doing your picture, you may go, well, Glyn said 20. I actually prefer 15. Now, you're not saying that to be awkward. There's just something in you, different likes, tastes, dislikes, upbringing, that makes you think you prefer it that way. And that's what I mean about try to copy, because you never will be able to copy. But when we go through this particular picture here, you'll start to see that we're using that background, really nice, soft background that we can kind of take out of focus. I'm going to shoot at maybe f2.8, so we get a really shallow depth of field. Now, when we're doing this, I might find that the background needs to be a little bit further away when I bring in that second light, because maybe there's a little bit of light spill going onto it. So if I've got the space, I'll bring it back, and we're looking here to have that. But if I'm in an environment like somebody's front room or somebody's just kind of like dining area within their house, because we don't have a studio, I could then think about bringing in something like a flag and just positioning it just to prevent some of the light spilling onto that background. We could also use another reflector or a flag to prevent too much light coming from that second one, so we don't light up the top of the head. We want to block some of that off so it's only coming onto the chin. So it's real simple things here, just blocking off light, having a lot of fun with it here and seeing how you can shape light. But again, it goes back to a saying that I always say to people, have the attitude of what would happen if. This is great practicing, slowing down, getting to learn lighting so that when you are maybe photographing for real, maybe if it's a client, you've put the practice in before. So when you come to do this, it's easy. It's absolutely easy. Now, I'd be really interested to know what you think about this copying kind of concept, because I know when you talk about it in photography, it can cause a few kind of sharp intakes of breath and people saying you can't copy, but what do you think about it? How do you develop your style? I'd really be interested to see what you think about that, so make sure you leave a comment below.